wanted to make a video explaining a problem where we have a 3 kilogram block being pulled by a force that's equal to 20 newtons attached by a rope to a 2 kilogram block, which is attached by another rope to a 1 kilogram block. And this is happening on a frictionless surface. So in this problem, I'm asked to find the force of tension between the 3 kilogram and 2 kilogram block, and then tension between the 2 kilogram and 1 kilogram block, and the acceleration of the system. So for this particular problem, I'm actually going to start with finding the acceleration of the system, because I know that that will be equal to the acceleration of each block. And this also eliminates the issue of not knowing the tension forces, because they're internal forces, and so they can be ignored when looking at the whole system. So I'm going to say that net force, I should say, is equal to mass times acceleration. So now I can plug in the numbers that I know. So I know that 20 newtons is equal to mass, well, that'll be 3 plus 2 plus 1, so 6 kilograms times acceleration. And then I get that acceleration is equal to 3.3 meters per second squared. So I'm going to write that down for my acceleration value. Okay, so now that I know acceleration, I'm going to move on to solve for tension 2. So to solve for tension 2, I'm actually going to isolate the 3 kilogram block and look at that as my only system. So I'm going to start with Newton's second law again and say the net force is equal to mass times acceleration. Well, I know that my net force is going to be the 20 newtons acting on block 3 to the right, but then I also have the force of tension pulling block 3 backwards to the left. So that will be minus the force of tension. And that is going to be equal to my mass, which is 3 kilograms, times my acceleration, which is 3.3 meters per second squared. So now if I just rearrange this, I get 20 minus 9.9, and that's equal to tension 2. So I get that tension 2 is equal to 10.1 newtons. Great, so now all we have left to do is to solve for tension 1. So to solve for tension 1, I'm going to isolate block 1. So starting with Newton's second law, we know that net force is going to be equal to mass times acceleration. Well, what's nice about block 1 is the only force acting on it that's causing it to move is tension 1. So I can just say that tension 1 is equal to mass times acceleration. Well, I know that mass is equal to 1 and acceleration is equal to 3.3. So then I can say that tension 1 is equal to 3.3 newtons. And those are the answers. I hope this video was helpful.